Introduction. Hey Stoic friends, welcome back to Powerful Stoic Habits. Today I want to explore something many of us have experienced. Have you ever found yourself wondering what it would take to make someone truly regret leaving you? Maybe they were completely unaware of the void they were creating in their own life as they walked away from you. Someone who brought light, meaning, and value to their world. They thought they could move on without realizing that your absence would echo through the empty spaces of their life, louder with each passing day. But what if, using a little wisdom from our Stoic friends, you could transform yourself into someone so resilient, so undeniably strong, that their regret becomes a constant reminder of what they've lost? Our wise Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." The rejection you faced was not the end of your story. It was the friction needed to reveal your true strength. By embracing these Stoic principles, you'll turn that rejection into empowerment, transforming it into the very fuel that makes them regret walking away. Picture this: the moments they replay in their mind, wishing they had seen your true worth before it was too late. Their regret will grow, not because you sought revenge, but because you rose above and became someone they cannot forget. And if you think transformations like this only happen in movies, I invite you to stick with me, because this video is going to shatter those perceptions. Today, we're diving into 10 powerful Stoic rules that will help you reclaim your power, build confidence, and leave a lasting impression. These are not just rules for making someone regret leaving you. They're about rebuilding yourself into someone who commands respect and admiration. So, before we dive in, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Why is this important? Because your engagement helps this content reach others who need it, and in doing so, you're helping to uplift others on their own journey. Ready? Let's begin. Segment 1: The Gift of Rejection. Have you ever considered that the very act of someone walking away from you could be the greatest gift they've ever given you? I know it sounds counterintuitive, maybe even shocking, but think about it. When someone leaves, they often think they're moving on to something better. They believe they're walking away from something they don't need or can replace easily. But what if I told you that in their departure, they have unknowingly handed you the keys to a transformation so powerful that it will leave them wishing they had never let you go? Most people view rejection as a loss. They think it diminishes their worth, that it's some kind of failure or inadequacy. But Stoicism offers us a different perspective. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus remind us that everything that happens to us is an opportunity for growth. What if this rejection isn't a loss, but a redirection? A moment that forces you to confront areas of your life that need growth, to develop strengths you never knew you had? Imagine this scenario. While they're out chasing the next shiny thing, you're quietly turning that pain into power, becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. You've embraced the rejection, not as a mark of your failure, but as the friction that polishes you into a more refined, resilient individual. This is the gift of rejection. It strips away what doesn't serve you and redirects your focus toward becoming the person you're meant to be. Now, think of them, realizing that while they moved on, you were building something stronger, more authentic. And that's when their regret sets in. The realization that the person they left behind is now the one they can't forget. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That rejection was the very thing propelling you forward. It's not just about moving on, it's about moving up, evolving into someone they'll always regret losing. Now let's start this journey with our first rule. Segment 2: Never chase back. The first rule on this journey is never chase back. I know this might sound like simple advice. Perhaps you've heard it 1,000 times. But trust me, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. When someone you care about walks away, the natural reaction is to chase them. You want to show them what they're missing, plead with them to come back, and in doing so, you might end up sacrificing your self-respect. But here's the harsh truth. Chasing someone after they've left will only push them further away. Worse still, it diminishes your value in their eyes. Let's break this down with a scenario. Your partner decides to leave, and your first instinct is to call them, text them, maybe even show up at their door, hoping to remind them of what you once had. But from their perspective, this behavior confirms that they were right to leave, that you need them more than they need you. What you may see as an expression of love, they see as desperation, and desperation is not attractive. Desperation undermines your worth and reinforces the power dynamic that's already shifted in their favor. Every text you send, every call you make, puts you further from your goal. Instead of pulling them closer, you're pushing them away by showing them that you're willing to sacrifice your dignity for their attention. So, here's what you do instead. Stop. Take a step back. Refocus that energy on yourself. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Their decision to leave is beyond your control, but your reaction to it, that's completely within your power. By choosing not to chase, you're telling them and yourself that your value does not hinge on their presence in your life. It's tough, I know. There will be moments when you'll feel the urge to reach out, but each time you resist, you're reclaiming a piece of your strength. It's like fine wine. You don't see fine wine chasing after people in the store, do you? It sits there, quietly getting better with time, waiting for those who appreciate its value to come back for it. And here's a crucial point. If they truly value you, they will come to see what they've lost. If they don't, then they were never worth your time in the first place. Either way, you win. By focusing on your own growth and resisting the temptation to chase, you're taking the first step toward building a life so fulfilling, so rich, that they'll regret ever letting you go. Segment 3. Redefine your priorities. Moving on to the next rule. Redefine your priorities. When someone leaves your life, it can feel as though your whole world has been shaken. Suddenly, the things that once seemed important, your shared future, your plans together, are gone. It's disorienting and painful. But this is where Stoicism offers a beacon of hope. When someone leaves, it's not just an ending, it's a chance for a new beginning, a chance for you to hit the reset button and take a good, hard look at your life. What truly matters to you? What deserves your time, energy, and focus? This is the time to redefine your priorities and focus on building a life that is aligned with your values and passions. Think about it. Maybe during the relationship, you compromised on things that were important to you. Perhaps you adjusted your goals, your schedule, or even parts of yourself to make the relationship work. Now, without that relationship in the picture, you have the freedom to pursue what truly lights you up. This is your chance to prioritize yourself. I want you to imagine this. Instead of spending your days wondering what they're doing, who they're with, or whether they miss you, you start focusing on your own goals. You start investing in your passions, your health, and your dreams. Each day you're building something for yourself, something that brings you joy and fulfillment. Let me give you an example. I had a friend who, after his relationship ended, realized how much of his time and energy had gone into making his partner happy. He had put his own dreams on the back burner for years, but after the breakup, he decided to prioritize himself. He went back to school, pursued a career he was passionate about, and started focusing on his health. Fast forward 2 years, and he's thriving in a way he never imagined. By shifting your focus from them to yourself, you're telling the universe that you are worthy of the same care and attention you once gave so freely to someone else. And let me tell you, there's nothing more attractive than someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to prioritize their own happiness. So, how do you start? Take an inventory of where your energy is going. Are you still giving your mental space to things that no longer serve you? It's time to let go. Prioritize your growth. Reignite your passions. Your worth is not tied to whether or not someone comes back. Your value is inherent, and by focusing on yourself, you'll begin to build a life so fulfilling that their absence feels like nothing more than a blip in the larger story of your life. Segment 4. Master non-reactivity. Let's move on to the third rule, which is all about mastering the art of non-reactivity. When someone walks away from you, their expectation is that you'll react. Maybe they expect you to get angry, beg them to stay, or lash out. But what if you didn't? What if instead of giving them the reaction they were expecting, you remained calm and composed? By not reacting, you're doing something unexpected and incredibly powerful. You're showing them that their actions do not control your emotions, your peace of mind, or your life. This is where the true power of Stoicism comes into play. Stoics teach us that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine them leaving, expecting fireworks, only to be met with silence. No pleading, no outbursts, just calm composure. How disorienting that would be for them. They'd be left wondering why you're not chasing, why you're not reacting. And that's when the regret starts to set in. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It's natural to feel hurt, angry, or upset. But instead of letting those emotions dictate your actions, you use them as fuel for your growth. When you master non-reactivity, you're choosing to rise above the drama. You're telling them, and more importantly yourself, that you are in control of your own emotional state. Take a deep breath. The next time someone tries to provoke you or they expect a reaction, choose calm. Choose peace over chaos. Not only does this give you a sense of empowerment, but it also leaves them wondering why you're not reacting the way they expected. And let me tell you, that kind of self-mastery is incredibly attractive. So, how do you practice this in real life? It starts with mindfulness. When emotions start to bubble up, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Repeat the affirmation we've been using. I am stronger than tomorrow. Let that affirmation ground you in the present moment and guide your actions. Mastering non-reactivity isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about choosing not to let their actions control you. It's about reclaiming your power and showing them and yourself that your peace of mind is worth more than any fleeting reaction. Segment 5. Create a life of fulfillment without them. Let's talk about the fourth rule. Create a life of fulfillment without them. This is a game changer. When someone leaves, it's easy to feel like there's a void in your life, like they were the missing piece to your happiness. But here's the truth. They were never the source of your fulfillment. You were. Your happiness, your joy, your sense of purpose, all of that comes from within, not from someone else's presence in your life. Imagine them walking away, thinking they've left you devastated, only to realize that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're pursuing your goals, reconnecting with your passions, and building a life that's rich and full with or without them. This is what it means to create a life of fulfillment without them. It's about finding joy in the things that make you feel alive. Maybe that's pursuing a career you've always dreamed of. Maybe it's traveling, spending time with friends who uplift you, or taking up a hobby you've always wanted to try. Whatever it is, by filling your life with things that bring you genuine happiness, you're showing the world, and them, that you don't need anyone else to complete you. Let me give you a practical tip. Start by making a list of the things that light you up inside. What makes you feel alive? What are you passionate about? Then, make a plan to incorporate more of those things into your life, whether it's taking up a new hobby, spending time in nature, or simply taking care of yourself. Start investing in the things that bring you joy. The more you focus on creating a fulfilling life for yourself, the less you'll feel the need to rely on someone else for your happiness. Remember, when you're living a life that's full of joy and fulfillment, not only are you healing yourself, but you're also becoming the kind of person they can't ignore. You're showing them that your happiness doesn't depend on their presence, and trust me, that's a realization that stings. Epicurus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By creating a life of fulfillment, you're reducing your dependence on others for your happiness. You're showing them and yourself that you are whole, you are enough, and you are capable of living a life that's rich with purpose and meaning. Segment 6. Always have a passion. Let's dive into the fifth rule. Always have a passion. This might seem like a simple concept, but it's one of the most powerful ways to make someone regret losing you. Why? Because there's nothing more attractive than someone who is fully engaged in life, someone who has a fire burning within them, a passion that drives them forward regardless of who's around. When you have a passion, whether it's a hobby, a creative pursuit, or a cause you deeply care about, it gives you a purpose that transcends any relationship. It shows that your life is full, rich, and meaningful on its own. Imagine them walking away thinking you'll be lost without them, only to see you thriving, deeply immersed in something that excites you. Passion is contagious. People are naturally drawn to those who have a zest for life, who are passionate about what they do. Think about it. How many times have you been inspired by someone simply because they were passionate about something? That's the kind of energy you want to cultivate in your life. Having a passion also makes you more resilient. It gives you something positive to focus on, something that brings you joy and satisfaction even when things don't go as planned in your personal life. Plus, when they see you thriving in your passions, they'll realize that they were just a part of your life, not the center of it. And that realization, that's bound to sting. So take a moment to think about what you're passionate about. Maybe it's painting, writing, fitness, music, or starting a business. Whatever it is, dive into it. Let your passion fuel you, because when you're passionate about life, you become unforgettable. Segment 7. Elevate your standards. The 6th rule is a vital one. Elevate your standards. This is where you stop settling for less than you deserve and start demanding the best for yourself. When someone leaves, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that maybe you weren't good enough, that maybe if you had lowered your expectations, things would have worked out. But here's the truth. It's time to raise the bar, not lower it. By elevating your standards, you're sending a powerful message to yourself and to others. You know your worth, and you won't accept anything less. Imagine this. Instead of chasing after someone who doesn't see your value, you start attracting people who do. You no longer entertain half-hearted efforts or mixed signals. You no longer make yourself available to those who don't meet your standards. Elevating your standards also means investing in yourself, whether it's through personal growth, your career, or your relationships. It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you to be better, and who see your value without you having to prove it. Remember what Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." By elevating your standards, you're examining your life, your relationships, and making sure they align with your true worth. Don't be afraid to raise that bar, because when you do, the world rises to meet it. You deserve nothing but the best. Segment 8. Showcase your achievements. Now, let's talk about the 7th rule. Showcase your achievements. This isn't about bragging or trying to make someone feel bad. It's about recognizing your own growth and celebrating your progress. When someone walks away from you, they often think they're leaving something ordinary behind. But what if, instead of hiding your accomplishments, you started highlighting them? Imagine this. You were in a relationship where you gave your all, but now that it's over, you've channeled that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. You've taken up new hobbies, reconnected with old friends, or started working toward a personal goal. Instead of keeping these achievements to yourself, share them. Let the world, and yes, even them, see just how much you're thriving without them. This isn't about making them jealous. It's about showing yourself and others that you're moving forward, growing stronger, and living fully, even in their absence. When you share your successes, whether it's a new hobby, a new job, or simply rediscovering your joy, you're reminding yourself of your resilience and that kind of confidence. It's impossible to ignore. Segment 9. Use social media wisely. Let's dive into the 8th rule. Use social media wisely. In today's world, social media can be a powerful tool, but it has to be used with intention. When it comes to making someone regret losing you, how you present yourself online can make all the difference. Resist the temptation to use social media as a way to make them jealous. Instead, let it reflect your genuine happiness. The key here is not to overdo it. Less is more. Segment 10. Embrace silence. Lastly, embrace the power of silence. Silence can be a powerful tool, allowing the other person to truly feel your absence. Instead of filling the void with messages or attempts at closure, let your silence speak for itself. Story. Picture them expecting a final message from you, only to be met with calm silence. It forces them to reflect. Conclusion. So my Stoic friends, these 10 rules aren't about revenge or making someone regret their decision out of spite. They're about empowering yourself, reclaiming your strength, and living a life that reflects the incredible person you are becoming. As Seneca reminds us, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. Focus on who you are today, and let the future unfold in your favor.